What's up, guys? Welcome back to an emergency spice stream. We don't use that terminology loosely here. We streamed yesterday, all was calm. Markets were sideways, stocks were doing pretty good, and it is Saturday. I wished you all a happy weekend. I don't know if this is so happy. It looks like we're back to not refreshing our portfolios for a while. We've got some not so great news, but we're going to take a look at our charts here. Basically, we're going to be focusing on Bitcoin dominance and then essentially all the altcoins that we're seeing some extreme fallout on. I'm going to give you my perspective. We're going to break down what the chart is suggesting, key areas of support we might be looking for next. And to start it off, we're going to just go with why is this happening? So off the regulatory hurricane of the SEC, let me double check, make sure everything's smooth. It looks smooth. Off the hurricane of regulatory, filings, lawsuits, whatever you want to call it, the SEC has incited a little bit of chaos in the market. But is that truly the catalyst of what's going on? I think there's a fair argument there to say delisting of coins, perhaps fear, flight, exodus from exchanges of assets, also a possibility. We did see some rather large USDT or stablecoin outflows yesterday from exchanges into large whale wallets. Wasn't a great sign. We did briefly talk about that, I believe, because we also saw other assets leaving. And we said it's hard to determine exactly what kind of signal that is, because if assets are leaving and stables are leaving, we're seeing both buy and sell pressure reduced. And what that leads to is a less liquid market that's more prone to being slapped around. So today I woke up to about, 50 alerts. I don't think we're going to be able to look at all 50. But what we probably should do in the sense of fairness is maybe go from top down, market cap wise. If you guys have any other suggestions, we can probably do it. But we're going to start with this little chart I showed you guys yesterday. I showed this on BitBoy's channel. This is Bitcoin dominance, and what this represents is the total crypto market cap versus Bitcoin. So at the moment, and what we saw today, a 2% move, which usually wouldn't be a big deal, but we saw a 2% move, barely grazing 50% on dominance, but something really important happened. You can see I have these two lines here, altcoin pain, altcoin gain. I thought that was clever. And you can see as we've passed into altcoin pain, we got the pain, we got blood. Today is a blood bath by all measures. Is it the end of crypto? Should you be afraid? I don't know. No, I don't think so. Let's put this into some perspective. So I've gone over this many times, but hopefully there's some new people joining us. If you are new out there, please subscribe. If you haven't smashed the like button, let's get hyped for this stream. This is the first real spice we have had in months, so let's try to enjoy it. Also, shout out to our sponsors, Femex, Fairdesk, link pinned to the top of the chat and in the video description below. Sign up using my link if you're looking to go short or long or whatever. Buy spot, sell spot. Use my link. It helps support the channel, and they do sponsor us through these dark times. So that out of the way. This isn't super unexpected, especially if you follow Benjamin Cohen. He has been yelling from the top of the rooftops for weeks now that we would see Bitcoin dominance higher. And some people might be wondering why. Why would we expect that? If we look back to the very limited history we have of the crypto dominance Bitcoin chart, because at one point Bitcoin was the only crypto, and so thus it was 100% of the market cap. As soon as other coins existed, that was no longer possible, and so we essentially expect Bitcoin dominance to be forever downtrending, or at least unable to ever reach 100% again. That's just math. So we only have one real cycle that we can compare what's going on to. The previous bull market from 2016 into 17, we can see it peaked out, at least in dominance terms, in 2018, and this actually lines up really well with what we see on altcoin charts. Alts hit their all-time highs after Bitcoin had topped out at 20K roughly in January of 2018. Wow, these dates, I'm getting old, guys. Right here, we can see it hit its lowest point, and what happened then? Well, we entered a bear market. Bitcoin traded mostly sideways for a year before falling to a new low. Then next year, it rallied 300-ish% in 2019 to about 13K before settling back down. March 2020 hit. We had some boring times, and we then rallied to a new all-time high. So why would we expect this to move up? Well, there's some logic and there's some chart history to suggest this, and so we may be finally seeing this play out. Low Bitcoin dominance suggests high risk tolerance, which is characteristic of a bull market. when we enter a bear market, we'd expect risk tolerance to contract and assets, whether that be stables or alts, to flee to safer assets, whether that's Bitcoin or cash. And that is exactly what we saw. After the peak, Bitcoin dominance crawled its way back up, hit a lower high here, and essentially this was the marking or the mark of the end of the bear market. Once dominance topped out and began falling again in 2020 or 2021, that was our new bull market. So this is a little different. This is why this cycle, or this is a good explanation as to why this cycle is so strange and what's going on today. Unlike the previous cycle, one, very interesting, dominance never reached a new low. We'll talk about that at a later date. But what's so strange is dominance traded vastly sideways for 2 years. In May of 21, it hit its low. Yes, it did very briefly, very shallowly breached its highs and lows here, but it's been in this range of 40% to 48%, we'll call it, on dominance for 2 years. People like Benjamin Cohen, expecting a 2018-19 repeat on dominance, have been waiting for higher Bitcoin dominance. I have had some theories that it's possible we see dominance fall and we see a new run into this year. However, those hopes, I'll call them hopes or dreams, not looking so hot here as overnight. And today, dominance has traded higher. It has broken that range, and it did exactly as described here, altcoin pain. We were really hoping for it to drop and see a little bit of gain. We've had a lot of pain so far, but this is it. Assets are fleeing. Alts are fleeing to either cash or Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is, at least at the moment, being looked at by the space as the safer asset, as the place to flee to. Cash, obviously, that's an argument for another day as well. So dominance is higher. I'm going to move, actually have another alert at 50. The question on people's minds right now with alts down is likely either, is crypto dead? The answer to that is no. Crypto is not dead. It is immortal. And the second question is, should I be buying alts? My alts are down. My favorite bags are down. I can't give you financial advice, but I can give you a lot of very valuable guidance right here just using this chart. And yes, we're going to get into those alts in just a minute. Bear with me. Keep hyping the chat. Keep sharing, subscribing, etceteras. My advice is that, no, not advice, because it's not financial advice. This is the way I look at it. You guys heard me, and I publicly announce almost all the time whenever I make buys. I bought a few little, or added a little spot bags to some of my old positions that were very under in the last weeks, in this year. The reason being is we were right here at the top of our range. There was a % chance we'd move back down, and that would have been a sweet buy. However, if you were paying attention, these were all very light buys. I usually do like $100 at random things. These were even smaller, like 25, 50. These were very risky bags. So am I looking to now, even though prices are down? And the answer to me is no, I'm not yet. I'm not yet. Here is the condition that I'm looking for to look to pick up or add to my alt bags. Dominance has just broken this range. Anything is possible. Charts do not tell us the future. Unfortunately, they're not a crystal ball. But looking at this chart, we see a lot of reason that dominance can go higher. Now, not exactly calling for the moon and for it to go to new highs, which isn't possible. Not go into 109. That's mathematically not a thing. But we would be, as reasonable, logical traders, looking for potentially, I'd say, the 0.5 retrace or the 618 retrace. There's many reasons, not just using the Fibonacci tool, as we see the most common retraces are to this zone, but also looking left down here. Now, while Bitcoin dominance is not traded, so you can make your arguments that this is, we shouldn't apply TA to it. I disagree. But we also see very inefficient price action on dominance. Dominance from March of 21 all the way to the bottom in May of 21, that was only a 2-month period, dropped significantly and really in just one direction. Even on the daily time frame, these are almost only red candles. No retracement, no bounce, just down. And almost any time we see that in markets, we look for what is called fair value gap, or essentially, I like to say, filling in market inefficiency. On the weekly, it's very clear here. One directional move, no volatility in the sense of up and down, just down, and markets very commonly look to move back to this. So this area, so that could even give us a level as high as maybe 61, but I think I'm going to sit here with 53 to 57%. Again, maybe as high as like 58, 60. This is where I'm going to be looking to scoop up those buys. Now, that doesn't mean this either. If we get a straight candle up into 60, that doesn't mean for me either immediate buy. What I'm going to be looking for is a move to these levels, and I'm probably going to plan out, as all good trades are, what alts I want to pick up, what bags I think are valuable or not, and what I want to allocate to them. And these are going to all be knives. In this scenario, they're all knives. So we don't want to go in, I don't want to go in hard. I'm not ever going to use more than maybe 1% of my portfolio or capital at something like this, especially a knife, preferably even smaller. But I'm going to be looking for, over time, a move either to 50, 53 dominance, or 57, 60. And once that happens, I'm going to be paying attention, and we're looking for one thing, and that is I'm going to be starting to look for weakness on that rally. So it's not just hitting these levels, it's hitting these levels, retracing, probably pushing back up a little bit, hitting that lower high, looking for bearish divergence, etc. That will be my signal for me in my planning, in my trading, to look to pick up those bags in any serious way. I think that will be a very solid thing, at least to plan a trading strategy around. I will say, back in this time, if you were around on this channel from like 2019 to 21, the start of 21, we traded dominance like literally, and it was super successful. We slayed trades based on just dominance, because essentially every time we saw dominance move to highs, we could infer that alts were reaching lows against Bitcoin. Maybe not necessarily against USD, but against Bitcoin in a pair. We're going to be looking at those today as well. I wanted to kick it off with what my strategy is, what my plan is if I'm looking to pick up bags. We did talk about this yesterday as well. People said, is it time to pick these up? And I said, dominance can go a lot higher. It's probably not the time. We're talking about dry powder. And I said, you never want to be out of dry powder, and you never want to be totally out of assets either. You're setting yourself up to be in a very emotional state and to make very bad decisions. So there's never guarantees in trading, but that is the setup I'm looking for, a higher move. Now, we do have weekend trading. We could see this fall back down into the zone over the week and maybe fall back down. I think that's unlikely at this point. I actually think there are some very spicy implications for stocks, as crypto is crashing today, guys. I mean, crypto is, Bitcoin isn't really, but as crypto is crashing today, I do have some reminiscence of previous crashes. So, for instance, many people can disagree with me on this, but they're wrong. Crypto has front-run virtually every stock market crash in my entire observation in my years. Every single one. 2020, it dumped like 3 days before. And what's interesting is I think it's usually the weekend that separates it. So this over weekend dump is interesting. My eyes will definitely be fixed on stocks come Monday. I'm very curious to see if they're going to sell off as well, provided that this market doesn't just kind of move back to equilibrium over the weekend. But that doesn't seem to be the case right now. So we're going to jump into Bitcoin. I'm going to tell you why I'm not so freaked out. Bitcoin, zooming out, we're not going to do our in-depth analysis like we do day to day. We're going to try to look at many things, many coins today, and get you some good supports and resistances. Actually, not this one. Uh-oh, I can't find it. No. There we go. Bitcoin, so let's put this all together. Alts getting slayed right now. Absolutely slayed. Hopefully yours aren't, but overall, getting slayed. Bitcoin is right where it was. 25.6. That was the low on the 5th and 6th of June. It has not broken lower. That is not to say it cannot, but it has not yet. Think about this for a second. We talked about this as well yesterday on the live stream. We looked at Bitcoin fear and greed. It has been so neutral. It's been more neutral than I've ever seen it. Literally, it was at 50 yesterday, the day before, the month before, the week before, whatever. Off of the SEC filing against all of these different coins, going after Coinbase, going after Binance, going for the throat of where Bitcoin is exchanged. Bitcoin has relatively not moved at all. This is, in my opinion, extreme resilience and strength. I do not think that should be underrated. That does not mean it cannot go lower. We have been going over that scenario in the last many streams, and we even have some solid targets. I'm not going to like go through the logic here on these again, but I will just show them on stream so that those who are tuning in for the first time can see the price levels we are looking at. Let me throw that there. There we go. I didn't plan on going live, but it's good to be here. I miss the spice, dude. We need more spice. I'm sick of this mayo life. There we are. Sitting on the 200 week. This was the big deal yesterday. I said until we really make a definitive decision, and that will likely be at the weekly close, so today isn't really that important. I'd say where it settles tomorrow is nothing has changed. Above the 200, we're looking good. Below, looking not so good. But if we did lose the 200, we had a logical downside target. We see the 200 daily moving average. We saw that was the low in March at 19.5. That has come up dramatically all the way to about 23.3. It has moved a little higher since we made this chart. This is the value box I'm looking for. Now, this as well will be a knife. So anyone who takes this needs to have a strategy and a plan. There's no guarantee it bounces in this zone, but I find high confluence, many different things pointing to the 23.3 to 24.3 range. I'm going to look to take a trade there. Not financial advice as always, but that's me. 200 daily was our low. The 200 weekly is kind of the bar for bearish and bullish. I'm going to see where this week settles up before I make any rash decisions, but if we do see a weekly close below, my eyes are set right here at this zone, and I think it makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. We are going to go into the alts, but I want to put up a poll. Which is first? Whoa. Which is first for Bitcoin? No. Did I lose it? I lost it. That's not good. I'm a little jittery. Hands are shaking. Not really. I'm not afraid at all. For whatever that's worth. I know that a lot of people get very hyped. You're going to see things like this thumbnail today that are meant to be emotion invoking. They're meant to be kind of shocking, kind of fear inducing. I want to share with you guys, I am 0% concerned. I did not expect this hard of a sell-off overnight on alts, but in no way does this impact my long-term view of crypto or of Bitcoin. Just look at Bitcoin. It hasn't responded. If it does respond and it does move down to these zones and it keeps dropping and it breaks 19.5, all right, maybe we'll get a little freaked out. But that even wouldn't be the end of anything. That would just be a setback in the short term. I want to put this poll really quick because I want you guys to have something to weigh in on. Bitcoin, what comes first? Let's say, you know what? Let's make this really interesting. So everyone's doing the boring, like, I don't know, like 25 or 27. We're going to make this interesting. Here we go. I hope this gives a really good insight or a really good value view of what we're seeing. What comes first for Bitcoin, over or under 19.5K? So that means breaking the low of March or breaking 40K, which is almost not quite a 2x from here. That for those of us who are smart traders and who have been paying attention, what I've given you is a 55 to 23 risk to reward. It's like a 2-to-1. So statistically, there is a better answer for this in my opinion, but I just want to see the sentiment. Do you guys think we're going to break this low, or do you think we're going to break highs first? That's going to be pretty important to me. Please vote in the poll. Please smash the likes. Please subscribe if you haven't. Hype up the chat. Put in some of those emojis. We can get more viewers than this. Let's get 1,000 today. I think we can do it. We do have a new subscriber. What is up, my man, Mr. Bim Ital. Bim Ital. Ah, man, I butchered it. Good to have you. Thanks for subscribing, guys. We breached 80K, and we're not stopping. We're going to beat Bitcoin to 100. So I think what makes sense, should we go in order of market cap or should we go in order of biggest blood? Alts converting to BTC. Trump, exactly. I did go over that. I touched on that topic, and we are going to be looking at BTC pairs. You guys, this stream is going to be the alpha stream. It isn't going to be the longest stream in the world, but I am going to drop some serious alpha you're not going to find elsewhere. 50K, I like it. I like it. Biggest blood, C-Matic. All right, let's see what the biggest blood is. Oh, no, another BS bajillion % pump. Matic is the biggest loser. We'll start with Matic. That's not a bad call. Matic is, I got an alert yesterday while we were live, actually, about Matic. So let's take a peek here. I don't need any of these lines. I don't need any TA for this. We just need clean, clear charts. We need clean, clear charts, and we need to zoom out. Let's take a look at maybe these monthlies. There we go. All right, Matic off the bat for USD pair. Not the worst thing I've seen in the world, but that BTC pair is a little bit more threatening. We'll start here. So on Matic, we are seeing a nasty 36% downside today. What's up, Kenton Smith? Thanks for subscribing, bro. You the man. Massive 36% downside on this monthly. Matic, my eye is immediately drawn to 47 cents. We have a candle of our monthly open in July of 22 here. Very inefficient price action, and a lot of this does look like it's coming down to fill that. Let's see what all these lines are. I have a line here at 54. Where did it stop? 51. Something to keep in mind, we do always have 50 cents as a psychological level. I say this on the way up and the way down. While we do see price tend to react to it, so if Matic does trade to 50 cents, I would expect some kind of bounce, even if it's short-lived. We always have 50 cents in the way, but we're going to use our charts to kind of find maybe a better area to look. It's weird because now that line's gone. Doesn't matter. 38. Let's go back to the month. There we go. Right at this monthly open, right where this market inefficiency starts. If we are looking for lower bids, 48 cents is looking pretty solid. That's pretty solid. Where Matic starts to have problems is going to be obviously under June's low of 31. And the problem is very obvious to those who watch this channel. This is massive market inefficiency. It is straight up. This reminds me, unfortunately, of, like, say, BNB and Doge in ways where if you lose your major support, you're going to lack any real support until much, much lower. I'm not saying that Matic is going to trade down to these levels, but if Matic loses 31.7 cents, it is possible, or I don't even say possible, the odds or probability increase of it returning to its previous consolidation or accumulation zone, and that's at 3 cents. That's a 90% drop. This is dangerous below 31 cents. This is all we need to do for this chart for USD. This is it. 50 cents always in play. 48.3 solid monthly open, possibly a good spot, and then 31.7 is basically where you put your hands together and pray, because if you lose it, you don't have to drop 90%, but you have very little holding you up here. Now, this is backed up. You know, I want to throw a fib on it. When in doubt, fib it out, right? That's what we always say. Although I don't want to get stuck on any one chart too long because we have lots to get through and not lots of time. Yeah, that's pretty solid. Yeah, your 618 down there, like 3.8 to 3 cents. That looks pretty, that would be value if we do see that happen. Not saying that's going to happen, but that is the gravity of the situation, is you have very little to hold up price underneath 31 cents. So I did look at the BTC pair, and this is really what is going to be important in my opinion. I'm going to get rid of a lot of these lines, a lot of this stuff, as we don't need it, and it's just going to distract us. We had some good upside calls on Matic on the way up. Where did that come from? Let's just clear this. So here, when dominance moves up, what we're really seeing is we're seeing these alts bleed into BTC. Whether that's literal or not, it doesn't really matter. But what we see is them lose ground against Bitcoin, and that is obvious here with the 32% downside on Matic for BTC. Something that's a little bit better, using just the same TA we used for the USD pair, we do see potential support right here, which may have already bounced. We're gonna have to go to a lower time frame. Really the same setup with where, like, close to that monthly open, and then our low wick in our range is right below. And in the same sense, meaning what I was just saying with the USD pair, is you lose that, and again you're facing this really kind of scary thing where you have very little below you. This is on the USD pair and the BTC pair. That is not really great. It's not really great if it breaches either of these. I'm definitely going to be setting alerts actually right now while we're live on these, because I will forget. If either of these go off, that is not great for Matic. That'd be like a 78% decline against Bitcoin and 90% or more downside against USD. For those of you just tuning in, listening to this, this is not in any way what I am saying has to happen or is even going to happen. It's just what we should be looking at as people who do TA. Potentially, and this would be a really good sign if it's today's wick. It is today's wick. That's good. We can see that today's sell-off on Matic BTC did hit that open on the monthly and wicked up. That's not a bad sign at all. That is actually solid that it chose to at least temporarily stop here. I don't think we're going to get many bullish signals right now because it's really just straight down, but keep an eye right here. It's just under what, 402. Breaking of that may suggest further downside on the USD pair, and then you just gotta pray it holds on down here at quad 017. Below that, things are looking very bad, but the gold lining, silver lining for Matic, at least it has shown some kind of buyers at this level. I would expect volume ticked up. There it is. There's the volume ticking up. You're praying for a retracement here. You're praying for a reversal on Matic at that point. Let's go to the second biggest lose share. Matic was definitely number one right now. We'll do ADA because we covered ADA yesterday, and holy shit. Holy shit. It must have hurt us talking because I was like, man, we slayed this trade. Our beautiful range from 31 cents to 41 cents that we crushed long short finally broke. We're gonna have to take a zoomed out look on Cardano here. Let's go to the month. Let's get rid of all this. Bloop. Not great. Not great. Hitting a new multi-year low, it seems. Yep. New low for this year, new low for 2020. However, looking at the greater picture, zooming out, this is what's important today, I think, is zooming out. Cardano's really kind of right in the middle of where it's traded for most of its lifetime, right? 25 cents. It's nowhere near its low of March 20, down at 1.7 cents. And conversely, it's not anywhere near $3.20. I'm going to make it a copy because there are way too many lines on this, and I want to just be fresh, speak right to it. So here we go. On the month. Boom. Unfortunately, you have broken that monthly level, but it does look like buyers may have already come in here. That's not too bad. That's similar to Matic's BTC pair. 24.6, we talked about that level yesterday. 24.6 was hit today. Price has bumped back up. That's a good sign. You're going to want to see daily closes above that level. Losing 24.6. The next, oh man, we were talking about this last year on the way down. 13.9 or 14 cents. Very strong support from the previous bear market. Likely if this level is lost, if we do see 24.6 lost and price continues selling, there's nothing really lines up there. That would be a solid point to look to potentially take a position, add to a bag, whatever it is. Whatever it is you plan on doing, that's not the advice today. Just the levels you may look for. 14 cents is definitely the strong support below ADA. And I do want to see its BTC pair here really, really quick. Whew. Should have had these all ready so I could have done this fast. Wow. Oof. BTC pair is looking rather ugly here off of a lower high. Wow. I didn't think it would ever trade back down this low on BTC pair. That's pretty wild. You don't have much support. You don't have much support below. That is not great. That is not great. Maybe here? Shit. This gets sketchy. This definitely gets sketchy on BTC pair. You're at a very deep retracement. Absolutely. You've hit the 786 almost perfectly. Man, if you lose that, where would you... I can't even like find where I might look next for support. Maybe there's a very shallow diagonal here that might play out. Not really. Man. That's seen better days. For ADA, basically, you didn't completely hit that support. We got very, very close. You can see there's a thin line there. Lots of volume, just like what we were looking at earlier on Matic or whatever was last. Lots of volume, really close to that support. That is 50872. That is the level on ADA BTC. If that breaks, I don't even know where I would look next. There is not a ton of obvious horizontal support down there until you get to basically like around the all-time lows. Maybe 500. We'll just call it 500. Maybe as low as 250. That could be very brutal. I remember actually when 88 traded at 250. Losing 870. 500 is probably the next likely area down here. What you really want to see as an ADA fan is you want to see this support here hold, this retracement hold, and you want to see a move at least back to that 1200 level. Some kind of retracement that just doesn't really even get you out of trouble. You need to break through this descending high trend and start putting higher lows in. ADA does not look the best on BTC pair right now, but its USD pair is not the worst. This could be worse. As long as we'll say today and this week settle above 24.6, this wick could be creating some very strong bullish divergence. That's possible. Maybe the weekly will show it. Yeah. If you see any kind of reversal, you'll have bullish divergence on the week, but that's really getting ahead of yourself. Those are the major values. Fight for 24.6 over this weekend. That's what I would say. We'll go to Ethereum because Ethereum is Ethereum. How about that? We'll go to Ethereum. There we are. Looking at the month, let's see. Actually, Ethereum, similar to Bitcoin, perhaps acting as one of those safeties, one of those havens here. Ethereum not really that fazed by the sell-off at the moment. This could be capital fleeing from the other altcoins that are considered more risky in investors' minds to those considered less risky, and to my surprise, maybe Ethereum's part of it. 1700 or that 1770 level we were looking at before, 1700 has not been broken. This was our monthly resistance for a lot of 2020. We got our breakout, and a return to 1700 is not crazy. That kind of reminds me of Bitcoin. Really briefly, zooming back here. Reminds me of Bitcoin. You had like a very significant monthly level. Support, resistance, resistance, potentially support. Ethereum looking to make some kind of similar play here, I hope. Fingers crossed. Close this one. There we go. Fingers crossed. Resistance, 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 boom. Now, potentially testing at support. It will be interesting to see Ethereum and Bitcoin, if this sell-off continues, do they get dragged down lower? At the moment, they don't really look like it. I won't say this is a beautiful, strong setup for Ethereum or Bitcoin, but they are back to untested previous resistance levels on the monthly. And as long as Ethereum's above 1700, I'm not going to really lose any sleep over it. That's not doing too bad. If you do lose it, where might we look? On the month, maybe like 1570s, something like that. It's not yet, I think, worth looking at until we break 1700. That's going to be an interesting level, and likely there are orders there, but maybe 1570 underneath that. That will become a little bit more bearish in the sense of we have broken that pretty strong monthly support and testing ones lower. As long as it holds this uptrend of lows, though, it's not the end of the world. It's looking okay. I don't really think Ethereum is too bad off. It's only down 7% actually for this month. If you compare that to the 30%, 26%, 30%, 24% we're seeing across the board, that's some relative strength. That's really not so bad. Man, this is pretty spicy. Let's go to BNB because BNB is down huge, and it is the 4th largest market cap and a target of the SEC. And a target of the SEC. So it does look like this has broken the structure we were looking for. It's not actually quite a lower low versus December of 22 yet, but this is absolutely not what I was hoping to see. Absolutely not. What's up, 420 Cupcake? What a great name. Cash Me Out or Hush Ya Mof. How you doing, bro? Ooh, we got a lot of subscribers. The spice is bringing all the boys to the yard. Wick, what do I think about price whiplash of Ripple lawsuit? Makes it clear, blah, blah, blah. Everything else is non-securities. Yeah, likely we'll just see the market return to where it was, is my opinion. Like, if that were to come out on Monday, likely most of these assets, in my opinion, would return to like where they dropped from. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to pump to new all-time highs the next day, but I think that a logical response would be like to return to where they were. That would have flushed out a lot of weak positions. So BNB is actually not nearly as bad off as I expected. It's just right back down to 233. This is a major support level we've been looking at. The big issues come in with BNB if you break 183. So in the sense of, I don't want you guys to think I was just talking about Matic or ADA or whatever. Many coins are set up this way. They don't have to come back. They don't have to fall through these levels and go back. But if they lose their lows, so if BNB loses $183, it is then on the table, let's say, or becomes much more probable that it's going to go back to a previous support. And because these made such strong, inefficient moves to the upside, those supports are very low. For BNB, that's at $32. That's an 80% downside. Again, not saying it's going to happen, but this is what I'm watching. As long as it holds these lows, it's still in the pattern. It's okay. But if it does really get nuked and loses 183, it's going to potentially get very bloody. There is very little holding it up here. Especially with BNB, this is different than most coins. Most of the volume of BNB is on Binance. So Binance trading, it directly impacts BNB. I think it's something like 95% of all the volume is traded on Binance for BNB. It's an incredibly large amount. We'll look at XRP next because Wick brought it up. And now we're basically just going from market cap. XRP was looking very good. I think even yesterday, it was looking very good. Let's see if any of that's changed. On the monthly, you can see this definitive difference in price action. Not really a threatening sell-off. XRP only down 5% for the month. Huge divergence from any of the charts we've seen. And not even trading lower than May's low at 47 cents. Did I just make a copy? Yes, I did. Not even trading lower than last month's open. That is showing resilience and strength, similar to Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think it might have tested it. Let's take like this, something like that. Here we are. Yeah, the weekly briefly bearish engulfed. However, buyers came in, pushed price up a little bit, really bumped on that support. XRP doesn't look so bad. If it does see a continued sell-off, you do have strong support at 33.1 cents. Totally possible. But at the moment, BTC, ETH, and XRP are showing, in my opinion, extreme resilience into all of this news and now into this sell-off. What about XRP BTC? Wow, this is XRP versus Bitcoin in value, and it's just a flat chart. It has made some gains, it looks like, in this week. Did it move down significantly? Not really. XRP green versus Bitcoin with Bitcoin dominance up. This is very unusual. Extremely unusual. Not a bad feeling probably if you're holding a lot of XRP. Looks like you have strong support right around 1890, something like that. Losing that level, I would look then to go back to the open of May down at 1610. But XRP holding up, not giving back those gains. Really, maybe, you know, I think there's a lot of different arguments to be made. One of them would be, well, it never hit a new all-time high, so there aren't really weak hands to sell. There isn't new retail that grabbed it at some exorbitant price, and it's down 99% now. There's less sellers of last resort. I think that's also true. I think we're also going to be, seeing that with Bitcoin. 2021, not a lot of people bought Bitcoin. Coins that didn't get super hyped up in 21, likely not going to be experiencing the blood quite as much as those that did, as there's just many less sellers to be selling right now. XRP is actually looking pretty damn good. I'm surprised to say that. We did go over ADA, so let's go to Doge is next in line. And did we get stopped? There we go. Money in the bank. So Doge is absolutely under threat, like all these other charts that we've talked about. We looked at this very recently, and we said if Doge returns to 6.1 cents, 6.14 cents, could be a place to take a position. Now, that long potential trade has filled. It has not been stopped. There is no guarantee that it won't get stopped, but I'm going to make the same argument I've been making and try to keep people a little grounded here, not to get ahead of themselves. Doge has a very similar and threatening setup as many of the things we've looked at today. And I will show you that here. This. Same as Matic, same as many of these charts. You have extreme inefficiency on the way up. You have a major support level, a low that you've already put in the past. That's just above or just below 5 cents. You haven't hit that yet. But if you do break 5 cents, you have a lot of potential downside. When do I even talk about downside targets? Back to the previous all-time high in 2018, that would be a 61% drop. Back down to what I would consider the only real support, being the all-time highs monthly close, 82% drop. And remember, that's from under 5 cents. We're currently at 6 cents. That's a lot of downside. That is what we were talking about with Matic on the USD pair. Potentially lots of room down if it loses these key values. BNB, lots of room down if it loses these values. What I hope you guys are picking up here is not all the charts in crypto look the same, even though they all seem to, when you zoom in, be moving in the same direction at the same pace. Some of them have these big inefficiencies below. Some of them don't. XRP. And what's interesting is that the ones that don't are the ones that didn't really see exaggerated upsides in 21. I think that's an interesting takeaway. That's some alpha. Doge in BTC pair, and as we're talking about the BTC pairs today, because Bitcoin dominance is ripping, and that is the explanation for what's going on here. Doge in BTC pair is a little bit better off. It has its monthly or its like historical support is much closer than the other coins we've looked at. So it's currently at 234. I would say the closest downside support. Wow, it did break June's low though. I didn't know that. I wasn't paying attention. Would be around 200 sats. It has an extremely strong support. It has an extremely strong support down here, closer to 100 sats, which is probably where people like me who traded all of this would look to maybe re-enter, re-pick up some Doge. I think actually a good sign here is that Doge's BTC pair, there's a lot less room to support to the downside. I think that's a kind of a good or positive takeaway. The USD pairs, 61%, 81%, those are big downsides, but they aren't big in comparison to the 90 or bigger percent downsides we've seen on some other ones potentially. Next up in market cap is going to be Tron, and this is going to be interesting because Tron absolutely did not run. It did not run in 21. No new all-time high, similar to XRP, similar to Litecoin, similar to whatever it is. Did not run, but it's held really steady. Last time we looked at it, God knows how long ago, we were looking for a move up to this resistance. We did get that right before it fell down, but look, it hasn't even retraced. It hasn't even retraced that entire move yet. The monthly briefly traded bearish engulfed, but it has bounced a little bit. It does have strong support at 6.2 cents, even stronger support from, I'll say, about 5.5 down to 5 cents. Tron actually, this is Bizarro World. It's Bizarro World, but Tron somehow looking stronger than many other coins out there at the moment. Let's see if the Bitcoin pair agrees. I have no idea because I haven't looked at this in forever. Yeah, kind of does agree. Now, this doesn't mean it's a good buy or something. Doesn't mean it's not financial advice, guys. I know people just like are tuning in randomly. Doesn't reflect on if it's a good buy now. If you missed the beginning of this episode, I did go over what conditions, and where I would look to pick up new alt bags or add to bags. And I also will say, for just the quick summary, that is not this moment for me. That's in my trading plan. TRX. Actually very close to a major support. You can see last month bounced off of it. It's at 266. That's support at 230 against Bitcoin. Not bad. Not bad. That is likely to act as strong support. If you lose that, you could definitely look lower to like 135 sats, and that would be a pretty big downside, like 41%. But I'm not as worried about this. I'm not nearly as worried. It has a lot less room to just free fall. And it's becoming more and more apparent. All these coins that didn't run in 21 are showing more relative strength in the market than the ones that did, with the exception of Bitcoin and Ethereum, at least so far as we go through these. Tron, not bad. Not bad. If it breaks 5 cents, all hell goes loose, and maybe 3.333 repeating, of course, is next. But that's your major support. Solana, this one's going to be interesting, I can already tell, because this thing ripped and rhymed in 21 and then pooped the bed. So let's see how much inefficiency to the downside potentially we have here. Is this the whole? I wonder what was the first exchange to offer this? Binance, maybe? April of 2020. Solana just moves up. This chart, oh, this is the quarterly. I was like, this chart is very small. Let's see. Let's throw these on, see if they rhyme with the monthly. Pretty well. Pretty well. I'm going to move this up to here and this down to here. Here we go. So this chart actually, if we subtract the back of it and just look at the price action from the high to the low early or late last year and now to today, this does look a lot like Cardano, doesn't it? The difference is it hasn't broken down here at the low in December, but this looks a lot like Cardano with this bleed down. You got a stronger drop that bounced, held for a few months, and now is reaching back down. $9.97 or $10, likely a strong support for Solana. We have seen other charts break that support like Cardano, and so I wouldn't have that much confidence there at $10. If I had no Solana and wanted to have a position, maybe I would very lightly look to enter there. And then really that $5 mark down here, I think there's value buy at 5. And then who knows what would cause that. $1.55 all the way down here. These are the major supports below. That $10 is looking very likely, in my opinion, due to just the condition of all the other charts that we've looked at, especially ADA, which is, in my opinion, over the last year and a half, identical. Identical chart. Let's look at Sol BTC. Ooh, this looking a little prettier though. Sol BTC a little prettier. Hasn't quite broken this low against Bitcoin of December, so price is higher. I guess that is logical. Hasn't quite broken its low here, but that's not even really that great of news because what do you have? So you might have this zone of support against Bitcoin's value from... God, why are these numbers so big? This stream's really just like putting me on my toes here. 4,800 to 4,200. You have that range of where, if you're a Solana fan, you really have to hope that that holds as support. That is the 0.5 retracement. Not bad. Your 618 is a little bit lower, but my problem would be there's not a lot of support below that until you get to very ugly numbers. This chart is very simplified on the monthly time frame. Very simplified. I don't see any significant resistance or no support in this entire area. So you may have, or you may find value right in that little green box. If you lose that little green box, you do have a rather gnarly 90 or 87, 88% downside to the next support at like 522. Yeah, that's getting an alert. That's getting an alert. Solana, I'm surprised actually. I'm surprised Solana's held on. It's held on better than Cardano, and that does surprise me. Next up is one very close to my heart, Litecoin. Fingers crossed, baby. I haven't looked at it yet today. Fingers crossed. Let's take a peek at the month. We're just going to do the same analysis. Back to May's low. Breached May's low very slightly. Not ideal. Not ideal. You have support at $70. That was tested in March. If you lose that, things do not look good for... They do not look good for Litecoin under $70. You do have 53. I will say this, not financial advice. If I ever see a $50 Litecoin again, I am buying more Litecoin. I'm just going to dig my hole deeper. That's your major supports for sure. You got $70. You had this from an order block on the monthly time frame back in November of 22. You really want to see Litecoin close above 80 this month. But if we do see further falling, $70 would be the logical downside target. Breaking through that, this whole structure is bunked, and you're looking for a pretty quick trip to $50, in my opinion. Litecoin against Bitcoin. Let's go. Let's go. Not great. Not great. Not the end of the world. Not great. Litecoin had a rather spicy rally into November last year against BTC and then pooped itself, returning back to, I'll call this like an inverse head and shoulders line at 2718. If you lose that level, 00215, that is going to be hopefully strong support. However, I will remain unbiased here. While you do see back here, it looks like Litecoin traded lower. This isn't like real trading. And this is actually not in defense of Litecoin. This actually, if I did think this was real trading, then that would be a defense. So this is the opposite. This is likely just illiquidity. These wicks, these candles, like this isn't real. There wasn't like the volume. There wasn't like I don't really count these when I look at the chart. So in that spirit, Litecoin did hit a new all-time low versus Bitcoin in June. And so losing these levels is very important. If that happens, we may see that price exploration discovery continue to the downside on Litecoin. And that would be very bad. That'd be very, very bad. So that is just being fair. Let's see. We're going to do DOT really quick. Keep smashing the likes and subscribes for the emergency spice stream. We're just going through, picking out major supports. We're not getting too deep into any single chart. We're just looking, if this fall continues, where would we look next? And DOT is not looking the best. Oh, that is gnarly. DOT very much on a prayer here. Wow. Wow. That's a knife I might buy. So, DOT has returned and slightly gone lower than December 22's low. This was the only real efficiency on this chart before the move up. Likely you're going to find some kind of resistance at like $10 from our efficiency of market up here. But this is just the market coming in, filling it back in where it kind of skipped over. What I like about this chart, though, is the wick today is slightly lower, and it's directly at that, we'll call it a quarterly order block likely. This is a decent spot to bounce for DOT, $4.18. Now, I'm not necessarily bullish here. I don't have DOT. I don't really have a DOT bag. I might have like a very tiny one. I might look to, nope, not yet. I want to see dominance go higher, but this is attractive to me because it's slightly lower, but it's exactly on that support. If I were to approach this and wanted to bag, I would go extremely, extremely small, not even 1%, not even probably 0.1%. Near this $4.18 level, and then I would look maybe to enter actually potentially at $2. And this would put you in a position where if price goes up, you're happy, you bought the bottom, yay. Or in more reality terms, you didn't buy the bottom, price keeps going, it dumps 50%, and this is where people who bought here go, oh no, I made the wrong choice, I'm gonna sell. Boom, right back to that support. $2. If it loses $2, it's a shit show. It's a crapshoot. Good luck. I went over what I'm looking for to actually start entering positions on alts. This is the first one where I was like, ooh, I kind of like this, that it just like tapped a little bit lower. A little bit lower, but more precisely to that support. I'm going to zoom in just a bit. You'd be seeing bullish divergence on the weekly. You have to see some kind of reversal. That's spicy. $4.18. Time will tell. You know, that is all of like the top 20 basically. That's basically all the top 20. We did an emergency spice stream. Frankie, or Crypto Frank.
A tenner's worth of DOT buddy.
It's weird. I got a different alert. I appreciate you, Noah. I got a different alert. Crypto Frank, glad to see you're live, just getting in. Have you missed it? Dip or FUD? I would go back to the start of the stream if you missed it. There's a lot of alpha here. I'm not going to go over it again here at like near the end. A lot of this, just go back to the beginning. A lot of this is explained as to the reasoning, in my opinion, of what's going on, what I'm going to look for to start entering alts, the conditions, etc. Hopefully this is timestamped. I don't know. Pickle's in Hawaii. Hopefully he's on the beach somewhere. But I wanted to go live for you guys in this emergency spice stream. We have like 500 viewers, over 300 likes. That's pretty damn good. I didn't plan it. This was just on the cusp. I just figured you guys needed a little logic, a little rationality. My advice for you all this weekend: if you're feeling greed or feeling fear, take a break. Don't make a decision in that moment. When you see a red candle, don't freak out, hit the buy button. Go do something else. Take an hour, take 2 hours. Disconnect from the chart. Reconnect with other things in your life, be it people, hobbies, pets, activities. I don't know. Go touch some grass. Go for a run. Go to the gym. Take care of yourself. Get your mind off of these emotions. Once you've done that, come back. Look at what's happening. You'll notice that even though in the moment you thought the world was going to end, not a lot has changed since that moment. Now that you're back and you've cleared your mind, if you still think that whatever decision you're going to make is the right one, then go ahead and make that decision. Never make a decision in the moment on emotion. Every single one, I'm telling you, every single time I have done that in my 7 years of trading crypto, I have made the wrong choice. And I've learned every time I start feeling that way to go do something else. It has saved me a lot of money. I know it can do the same for you. Crypto will be fine. It will be fine. It is not dead. You cannot kill cryptocurrency. Everything's going to be okay, fam. This is the chaos. This is what shakes people out. This is why there is so much upside gain in this space, is because it's not easy. If anyone ever told you it was easy to get rich in crypto, they lied to you or they didn't know what they're talking about. This shit is the hardest thing you'll ever do in your life because you'll have to conquer yourself. Happy weekend, fam. Crown out.